Got my eyes straight ahead, got my head in the game. With the red light on, I'm just waiting for the change. Keep my head down low. Let the wind
Okay, here in Queensland, we've had an announcement. Now, it's been about 2 weeks ago now, but I'm looking at this announcement thinking we need a lot more transparency when it comes to these political appointments, because these appointments, a lot of them being political, having political power, and people who use their political energy, their political power to get into these positions, high paying, high paying positions. And there's no transparency to what the process was. Are they actually the most deserving person to get this position? Were there any other candidates? So many times we see, well, this is it. This person's been appointed, and you sit there going, "Wow, okay, it's nice. $300,000 job paid at the at the teat of the public purse, and we didn't get a say in it. It's just been given, appointed. Feels very frustrating, and some of it can feel like it's just a job for the boys. So what I'm talking about, I'll go through very quickly. Don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but I just anyway, I think there's a lot of questions here, a lot of questions, and there's probably things I can't really say in some of my thoughts on this. But anyway, so this happened on the 21st. This article came out anyway. So the police union head here in Queensland, Ian Levers. We all know Ian Levers. I did anyway, Ian Levers. He was appointed Queensland Cross Border Commissioner. That position that apparently we all needed, that no one knew we needed. Anyway, so Ian Levers, in short, has been announced as Queensland's first cross-border commissioner. The commissioner will coordinate with local governments and other stakeholders to manage cross-border challenges. What's next? Border communities hope the role will improve the handling of cross-border crime in the medium to long term. That's a good way to look at it. We hope this works. We hope the role will improve. Fingers and toes crossed. We hope it works. Okay. It's nothing like planning planning border security by hoping. The head of Queensland's police union will take up the new role of cross-border commissioner in a bid to help crack down on crime and boost disaster resilience in the region. In appointing Ian Levers, the Queensland government is following the lead of New South Wales, Victoria, and South Australia, which already have cross-border commissioners. Recent challenges prompting the move include COVID-19 border closures, disaster recovery, and implementation of the Murray-Darling Basin plan. Wow. Can you imagine? We have more border closures coming up in the future because of, what do you reckon? Mpox, monkeypox, whatever ridiculous name they want to give it. And, Ian Levers is in charge of the border closures. That's going to go just fantastic. He'll be all over that like water and rice, that lad. Anyway, so Premier Stephen Miles told Parliament that Mr. Lever's experience on the front line and his collaboration with emergency services, local, state, and federal governments made him an ideal candidate for the role. An ideal candidate. The thing is, he was the ideal candidate. What I would like to know, and this is what really peeves me, were there any other candidates? Was he the ideal candidate in a long list of one, or was he an ideal candidate in an actual list, or what's the go? How many candidates were there? Um, because to me, this stinks of a job for the boys. Maybe, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. I think when this process all started, I think just my opinion, just my theory, my own personal theory. I think this all started when this happened. Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk resigned. Apparently, well, this article says on her own terms. Remember? So December last year, 2023, it was on her own terms. I mean, they forced her out, but it was on her own terms, people. Yeah, okay. So I love it. In this article, it's a rare opportunity not granted to all political leaders to control their legacy and quit while on top. Says she quit while on top, but apparently this was all in the face of leadership rumblings for months. It was all while on top, but there'd been rumblings for months, and Palaszczuk repeatedly insisted she wasn't going anywhere, and that she was absolutely determined to lead Labor to next October's state election. But just last week, she shut down criticism from former Labor ministers, this is all last year, right, that she should consider resigning to give the party a chance at retaining government for the fourth term. Why? Why? Why was she getting heat? Why was she getting some pushback? Because the polls had come in and they showed that Labor were going extremely badly in the polls. So even though the article says, hey, she's quitting on top, she wasn't quitting on top. She was going down. She was going down, and Labor were going to lose because they'd had too many bad headlines, and especially with Palaszczuk and with Katarina Carroll being the police commissioner. So it wasn't any. There's no coincidence that Palaszczuk resigns in December, and then a couple of months later, Katarina Carroll, she resigns from the police commissioner role that she was, even though the role was due, she was due to be replaced. Her contract was going to be finishing only several months later. I think it was 4 months later. She still resigned. She couldn't quite hang out for another 4 months. No, no, no. Didn't quite have it in her. She had to resign right then and there. Palaszczuk resigns in December on her own terms, but she was forced out, so whatever. Katarina Carroll resigns. She resigned on her own terms too because she just couldn't quite cut it for another couple of months. In the meantime, Stephen Miles, Dr. Stephen Miles, he'd come in and taken the top role. He'd done a couple of deals in the background and he'd gotten the job. Steve, Golszewski, he's gotten the commissioner's role. And then a few months later, when everything's quietened down, police union head Ian Levers gets appointed Queensland Cross Border Commissioner. Palaszczuk quits. Stephen Miles takes up the mantle. Katarina Carroll, like I said, she quits. Golszewski takes up his role, and then you go Ian Levers. And this is why I think there should be more transparency, because then you would know. You would know how things happened. But Queensland government they love a good secret. And it's all these secrets that they have to keep. They don't want to let too many people know. For some stupid reason, they love their secrets. So what was the reason? Why do we suddenly need a border commissioner? How much is he getting paid? What was this? Was there a list of candidates? I doubt it. I don't think there was a list of candidates. I think, just my theory. I think this is what probably happened. Uh, Miles was trying to make a move on Palaszczuk to get her out. He wanted her job. Ian Levers probably had just the right kind of information that Miles needed to persuade Palaszczuk that she should be moving out, and then persuade the caucus, the Labor caucus, that he was the man to take over the role. Obviously, we needed someone else good to take over from Katarina Carroll because she had had so many failures during her time as commissioner. It was ridiculous. She needed to go. Who can we put in? Golszewski. Now, he's a little more stable. A little more stable. He's not going to go out there and say crazy things in the media. He's had a couple of bad headlines, but nothing, you know. For one, yeah, no. Anyway, look, there's a few other reasons. I mean, he's well, nothing else I'm going to say. But look, he probably just has a better look about him when it comes to being police commissioner. And then just to pay back the favor. Well, then obviously everyone else is getting these border commissioners. So my theory is that Levers had been promised this role from ages ago. If he helped Miles get into that position, maybe push Golshuski's name forward. Maybe, who knows? Maybe Golshuski wasn't a part of it at all anyway. But I reckon he actually was behind Miles, helping Miles get into the premier position, and then just to get that little sweet deal for him. Yep, you'll be given this position in a few months' time. So when everything looks nice and sweet, when there's no doesn't raise any eyebrows, we'll be able to place you in this position, and then you go into there, and then Shane Pryor will move into the head of the police union. The thing is, you can come up with whatever theory you want because there's no clear process that everyone is able to look at and say, well, this is what we went through. This is the rigorous process that we went through. These are all the people, all the nominations for the role, and look at that. The best man, the best person, the best woman, whatever, they got the job. But no, we're just told, hey, look, we needed this position. And Ian Levers was the best person. He was the best person out of that long list of who knows who, but he was. Just trust us, just take our word. We need far more transparency, especially here in Queensland. We have too much of this ridiculous behind-the-scenes manipulation going on. People with the right amount of leverage able to get the positions for themselves and their mates. Queensland. It's for far too long. It's been a state of secrets. I think that it's probably true of all Australia, to be honest. Queensland politics, but I just don't trust it. We need more open, honest transparency. I don't trust Miles. Don't trust Ian Levers. And what was the process? Who else was nominated for this position? How much? What's the wages? What's the salary for the Border Commissioner? Do we really need one? I don't think so. All this is just my opinion. I think the whole process is dodgy. It wouldn't surprise me if, it was just you wash my back, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Someone had the right amount of leverage. That's just my opinion. I'm Jay Fallon. Let me know what you think. Am I just being way too suspicious here? Thanks for listening to The Slippery Slope.
And say it isn't real, and please don't go away. Just give me one more day. What if I could turn back time? I'd make you smile again. And if I could unbreak your heart, and we could start again. What if I could turn back time? I'd make you smile again. And if I could unbreak your heart, and we could start again. We could start again. We could start again. We could start again.